Welcome back to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. As always, we appreciate you listening. Please rate us on all the podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share wherever else you're listening, and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. That is our handshake agreement with you. You, the listener, get all the free content that we can provide, and you click the follow button, the subscribe button, the like button, whatever button there is for you to tap on, click on, stare at intently, whatever it is. Go ahead and press it, click it, touch it, and that'll help us out a whole lot. That's the currency that we use. It's our handshake agreement with you guys, the listeners, and we appreciate you doing that. We want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty and Pasadena, Maryland. Team Alpha Charlie with Douglas Realty, TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. For this tough real estate market, or even maybe it's not so tough, but it is different than it was even 5-6 months ago. You need someone that has been in the market every day as their primary job to help you through it, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So go to TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. Today is going to be sort of a mishmash, but not so much. We're going to talk weight loss because it's been about 3-4 weeks since we did that. And we did say we would keep you updated. There has been some movement for the two of us. More so for Mike than for me. Mike has some interesting baseball from the heat wave week, which makes you wonder why people do summer baseball to begin with.
I ask myself that every summer.
I think, don't get me wrong, I guess baseball is supposed to be the summer sport, though.
It is.
I mean, MLB plays in it.
Yeah, they're also making millions of dollars.
Yes, they are. Well, you're spending millions of dollars, aren't you?
They say you're swinging the car payment, you got a vacation in your bag.
So. Pretty much, yeah. That's very true for some of these things. So we're going to talk about both of those. Last week you got a large dose of cars. We were supposed to hit on weight loss or health things then, and we didn't get around to it because we ended up railing on Tesla drivers because it's kind of shocking that they, in my opinion, they took over the number one hated driver spot from the Prius people.
Yeah.
Some people still say Prius drivers are kind of, still number one. Not me. Tesla drivers are my new number one. So, if you want to listen to that episode, go back to last week's episode and go ahead and click like and subscribe on that one. So, you do, it seems like you guys do a tournament almost every weekend. It's pretty close. But I mean, now, is it all for the oldest?
No.
Okay.
No, he's done.
He's done. Okay.
So they played their end of season tournament last week. So a couple weekends ago. So they're done. They won it, which was cool, especially the way the team started off. And then my kid, who couldn't hit a ball to save his life, he couldn't hit a beach ball during fall ball. But then went on this hitting streak. Was, I think he only had a couple games without a hit in the spring. So it was cool to see that. His coach, who has left the team, but his coach never batted him higher than like 6th. So
is that officially gone?
Yeah. 3rd highest batting average on the team, and he never bats higher than 6th. So whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, then we figured we'd be done because the oldest was the only one that ever played. When he played rec, was the only one that ever did the summer tournament teams. So cool. We're not, we kind of have the summer off. Well, then the middle one tried out for the summer tournament team and made it. And then the little one tried out for the summer tournament team, but it's like the age group above his, and then made that. So it's like, great, now 2 of you made it. So our next 4th of July we have off, or had off, depending on when this airs. And then I think the next 4 weekends or 3 weekends, baseball tournaments. 2 of them are the same time. Thankfully, they're the same place, the same tournament. Mm-hmm. And then we have one more coming up. So this past weekend, it was super, super, super hot, as it was the weekend before. And it's crazy because on Father's Day, I was wearing a hoodie. Because Father's Day, it was cold and damp and dreary.
Sure.
And then it was that way for the rest of the week. Then we go to the tournament for the oldest, end of season one for the league, and it's 100 degrees outside. Then we have some more kind of dreary weather because the weather in the state sucks at all times. So we go on Saturday for their, they get there an hour before to warm up and do all that. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of drizzly and kind of cool out here. Well, then that left, and it was humid and hot, just like typical Maryland summer. So that was the weather and the experience. I drank a gallon of water both days. I did not pee one time while I was at the field. And that team, I'm kind of, if they need help coaching, I'll help. If not, I don't. But I keep score, so I'm usually in the dugout. Just because I like to bounce it off the coach, be like, "Hey, is that an error?" Because I score pretty honestly. So, but I'm not sure how. You want a 13U travel standard, or do you want 10U rec standard?
Right.
He's like, no, score them how you see them. Cool. Error. Error.
The overthrow and 2 extra bases is not a triple.
Right. Or a home run.
Right.
As this one team we played. So, actually 2 teams. But we go, but they're rec tournaments, right? 10U rec. So it's rec all-stars. So the idea is that you take your rec team, right, and you, from your community baseball league, whatever it is, and then you either have a tryout. We do a tryout here, but some teams, they just nominate kids to go be on the all-star team, and they play in the summertime. So you should be playing rec baseball, right? That should be the standard. Mm-hmm. Now, some organizations are much bigger than ours, and because they're bigger, they're going to have a bigger crop of kids to choose from, and their teams should be better, and they are. But at least it's kind of competitive, right? So we played one team, similar setup to ours, just a bigger league. We were right with them for the first 3 innings, and then, of course, the kids had a meltdown inning, errors all over the place, and I'm standing there in the dugout, and I'm just watching. The catcher is holding the ball behind the plate, and the pitcher is standing there to cover the plate, right? It was a pass ball or a wild pitch, either way. Mm-hmm. And the other team is just running runners across home plate. So I'm like, guys, we just going to stand around and watch them score, or are we going to do something?
Right.
They just ran out of runners. And the final score was 16-6, but at least the game was competitive. The second game we ended up playing was, and these parents swore up and down they weren't, but it was, my kid plays travel baseball. I've seen a travel team. This was a travel team. They were ridiculous orange uniforms, but like that silky stuff that you see on all the travel baseball. Like, okay, the parents all had matching shirts. Mm-hmm. The coaches were all wearing matching cage jackets. They fundraise. I looked at their game changer. Every team they were playing, because I looked at who they were, all travel teams. They were beating them. They're on a travel baseball Facebook group, mm-hmm. playing in travel tournaments. It's like, okay, but we're not a travel team. This team just formed. But you're a travel team. Like, that's what you are.
Right.
Are you playing in a rec league year round, or for the spring season, and then you form it in May?
No, they're not.
So this is the first 2 games, first 2 losses. In typical fashion, we won Sunday morning. And I was thinking, the kids really came out. Like, it was a legit rec all-star team mm-hmm. that they were playing, and it was competitive. And it was crazy, though. The final score was I think the final score was 18-15 or 18-14, something like that. But their team didn't have one single hit. It was all pass balls, wild pitches, and errors. So it was a combined no-hitter with 14 runs scored.
Nice.
Only in Rec All-Star Baseball, do you get that?
Right.
So then we go to play the 10U version of the 9U. Also, rec teams generally, they age up every 2 years.
Right.
Until you get to, there usually isn't a 13U or 14U. It goes to 15U once, and then it's 18U. So the older kids are every 3 years.
Right.
Well, these teams had a 9U team and a 10U team. And the 10U team, similar setup, similar uniforms, coaches all wearing cage jackets. They put 20 runs on us in the first inning. So finally, coach walked over and said, we're not doing this. So if we don't do some sort of 5-run cap, you guys are going to win. You know, it's clear. This inning is going to take forever because you couldn't be mercy ruled until the 3rd inning.
Right.
Well, if you can't get off the field, and the umpire's like, well, that's not what the white sheet rules say. He goes, you want this next game to start on time? Because this could never end.
Right.
It just could keep going. So finally the other coach is like, yeah. But what I don't get is, what are your kids getting out of this?
Nothing.
Our kids are getting nothing out of it. And your kids are getting nothing out of it. But the worst part is, I'm watching these kids do things like that my oldest son's team, his travel team, still struggles with, right? So ball to deep left center field, left fielder runs out to field it. Center fielder backs him up. Shortstop's there to cut. And it was funny because I had it right in front of me. Straight line. Mm-hmm. Bam, bam, bam. Throws the kid out at home. How is this? Sorry, that team's been doing this for a while.
Right. Those guys didn't just start playing 2 weeks ago.
No.
Together.
No.
No.
This team is doing this for a while. Yeah. They beat one of the big boys around here. Big organization, lots of teams to pull from. They spanked them. And it was like, wow. And that organization will have like 12 teams in their rec division.
Yep.
And they play in Pasadena. You know they are.
Yep.
And field 2 legit travel teams. And they spanked them. So I'm like, ugh. But we're not a travel team.
No.
You are. And the worst part is, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
The worst part, like, so they scored one of their inside the park home runs, which was really, the single is a gift. And then all the errors. The kid comes around and all the other kids rush out of the dugout and meet him at home plate. And they do some stupid stomp on the plate. Like, come on, guy. Like, that's coaching. Your coaches are allowed you. Now you're rubbing it in.
Right.
So, yeah, just.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, though, it's the parents, too. If you have your kid on that team and you signed your kid up to play travel ball, which they did.
Yeah.
Only to go to these rec all-star tournaments just to stomp kids. That's not what you paid for.
Right.
You paid so your kid would see better pitching. Mm-hmm. So he would actually see pitches to hit.
Yeah.
Right? So that they would actually play a team that played good defense. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm not saying like our teams are not like that, but there's a distinct difference. I mean, it sounds like this team should have been a B level, if not even a C level travel team, like a B level travel team.
Yeah.
And you're basically playing down 2 divisions just to kind of get your feels on.
Yeah.
Like if I'm the parent there, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Because my kid isn't getting any better by winning 20-0.
No, you're not. When the other team came and put the ball in play.
Right. And then to have the coach allow the celebration, because, I mean, it's like if you had the heavyweight fighter just destroy a lightweight fighter.
Right. Who's never fought before.
Right. And the the heavyweight fighter is doing like a dance after he wins after 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you should not feel good about that. And the funny part, good athletes don't feel good about that.
No.
Like the truly good athletes don't feel good.
No, they want to be challenged.
Right. They're like, this is dumb. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But I mean, these are young kids, right? So the parents of these young kids need to be the ones that go up to the coach and be like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
You signed us up for this shit. Get your head on right get us the competition we paid for.
Yeah.
Because, especially if the team is that good, the parent, now don't get me wrong, it could be daddy ball, and well, not even daddy ball, but basically a team that wanted to stay together, right?
And the second team, the 10U version of this team, coach flat, and it says when you register for the tournaments, because I register all the teams in our organization for the tournaments.
Yeah.
It said in there, if you're like, when was your team formed? And then it tells you, like, this tournament's not for you if you're a travel ball, blah, 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 blah. So he had to go through the same thing I did.
Yeah.
And answer those questions. And then he goes and says, oh, this is his team's second year playing together. It's a travel team then. You might not be traveling to play people, but that's what you are.
Right.
If all these kids play together at 9U and now they're together at 10U, what is it? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, what is it? So, yeah, straight up like, oh yeah, we were pretty bad last year, but this is our second year together, so this team's pretty good.
Like, I don't understand, like, from the parents' perspective of that. Like, and there's two different types of mentalities. One, I'm doing this to make so my kid can get better through better competition. Now, look, I've got my own feelings on travel ball, right? Mm-hmm. And this is different. So what you were doing with your kids is this is an all-star team.
Yeah.
And because, like, look, we don't have enough teams to basically have two divisions, create two all-star teams, play each other. It's not really that. I mean, almost every kid would make the all-star team.
Yeah.
Because you would end up with 26 to 28 kids making it.
And they do have an all-star game, and essentially it's half the league is in it.
Right. This is a way to see, okay, we're gonna see how we stack up against other rec leagues, all-star teams.
Yeah.
Not, hey, we want to see how we stack up against travel ball.
And the thing is, like, a lot of times we'll play one of our own travel teams. So, like, the 10U rec all-star team will play the 9U travel team, and usually they get curb stomped. The 10U rec all-star team.
And that's by choice, though.
Yeah.
You're doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
it's to see.
It's a scrimmage. You don't have umpires. Like, one of the coaches or me will go out and call the game. And, like, this is a travel team. Yeah, sure, it's 9U. And they've only been playing together for a year. But they played 35 games in the spring, and our kids played 12. Right. They practice twice a week. We practice once a week. Right. So you expect, and you know that these kids are good because you know what they are. It gives them a bit of a workout. Sometimes, like the one year we did it, our pitchers pitch the whole game on both sides. So, they could get more reps in, and then the other coach, the travel coach, was moving his guys around, and it was but it was fun. We all know each other. Right. The kids know each other because they all go to school together. But that's what we knew we were playing a travel team. Mm-hmm. They didn't enter into a rec all-star tournament.
Correct. Yeah, and part of it comes down. I do wonder: is it from the parents who basically, because there's big time politics when it comes to travel. Baseball, softball, soccer, doesn't matter what it is. Mm-hmm. Basketball, AAU is notorious for shenanigans. That's a whole different level, though. But, like, it was funny. Like, I actually went to the community pool the other day.
Oh, you did?
I was there.
Wow.
I made an appearance. And we just happened to talk. We were talking with some friends, and it came up about a soccer issue with the local soccer organization. And the same kind of thing, like a team held tryouts, but didn't tell all the kids. Mm-hmm. So some kids didn't make it, and one of the people we were talking with was saying, well, it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. They were going to pick who they were going to pick because it's daddy ball. Yeah, it's just soccer. It's different. I mean, the name is the same, but the sport's different. Yeah. But it happens regardless of where you play. Is it fair? No. Right? I mean, everyone knows my situation,
Yeah.
but which I think was a little bit different. For my own reasons,
Yeah.
but whatever. But I see it because I hear it from other parents that want to keep kids' friends together, right? They want to keep a group together, and I think I'm kind of mixed. Like, I get it because sometimes there's just a nice mix of families that want to stick together.
Yeah.
But they also don't necessarily, it's not dependent on the kid's ability level, right? You're not creating the super team. Mm-hmm. It's different a little bit in that regard. And some organizations allow it and some don't. Like we were one that we don't allow it for our rec stuff. To a certain level, like up to a certain point, you can request to be put on the same team as a friend or buddy. Yeah. But after a certain time, we don't allow
They stop.
that.
Yeah. They do evaluations and they try to make the teams.
And part of that is league based.
Yeah.
So like, I know on the softball side, the league says, you can't have what they call tryouts. You have to, your team should be evenly matched. Mm-hmm. So we call them evaluations, right?
Yeah.
And then the coaches then draft the teams so that it is fairly even. And I would say, at least on our end, our teams finish fairly close to one another. Like, and I think it was like 20 softball teams. 8 I think this year was 10 make the playoffs. I think we were ranked 5, 8, and 9. Mm-hmm. Although 8 and 9 had a tied record. And it was a tiebreaker with them and a third team. And that's who decided who played in the, they call it the championship bracket and the consolation bracket, right? But we were, 5, 8, and 9 and out of 20 teams is really pretty stacked together. Now you look at like another organization, they had 4 teams and it was like team number 1, 3, 17, and 19. Like, that's not even.
Yeah.
Like you did something there, whether it was keeping kids. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But some organizations adhere to what the league tells you to do, and some don't. And I don't know which way is better. I really don't.
Yeah. So the way baseball does it with the evaluations and then so if there are 5 teams, which stinks because someone has a bye week. That's what we had. So you had your first round pick. You had to pick from 1 through 5.
Right.
Second round pick, you have to pick from 6 through 10.
Right.
So it goes down. There was a provision like, hey, if there's a kid you really want to get, you can kind of flag him. And then when the coaches' kids come up, you have to draft your kid.
Right.
And then, so if both coaches' kids come up in that, say the 2 coaches' kids are in the second band, you have to take both of them, and then you lose a pick in the next. That no one wants to coach a team without their own kid on it. Well,
Right.
Some people might.
Well.
I tried to trade my kid. No one would take him. But I'm kidding. So it's like, but ideally in any rec league, if it's done perfectly and all things are even, every team will be 500.
Yeah.
Now it is incumbent upon, you can get kids that evaluate their, and then you coach them up, and then depending on how good the coach is, if you get these kids playing some good team baseball, you could be better, or if you, like, say you have a bunch of kids, because it's not perfect, say you happen to draft a bunch of kids that can really hit, and they can just hit, you're going to do better than, or you have some kids that can really pitch.
Right.
I've said, you can give me a team, give me a couple of pitchers and a decent catcher. I don't care if the kids know which end of the bat to hold.
Right.
Because they're going to be, pass balls and wild pitches are going to kill you. So, and that's, but that's the expectation. That's what we're doing at this level, and to go to what you think is a tournament for this level. Because if I'd known that there was going to be like this, we wouldn't have wasted our time.
Yeah, it breaks that honor system, in my opinion. And I've come to the conclusion there is no honor when it comes to travel
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
There's none. There's always going to be parents, people, whoever it is. There's going to be people that are there just to. And I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's like boosting their own ego. It's like, is this what you got to do to make yourself feel better?
To make your little dick feel like it's bigger? Like,
right.
Our friend Jerry always says it. He goes, if you want a trophy that bad, I'll buy you one.
Yeah.
You know? And it was crazy. The second game we played, I knew it was going to get... So our kids they went 4 up, 3 down. And my kid was the last one up. So umpire calls a really low ball a strike. And then the next pitch like that, he did what I told him to do. It was like, hey, if he's calling those strikes, you got to swing. So on strike 3, he swung at a ball that he would never swing at because it was too low. But on the previous pitch, he called it a strike, so he had to go for it. Then they're switching sides. So our pitcher's warming up. First base coach walks around. Is like, hey, Blue, he can't have those sunglasses on. They're distracting. It's not a rule. It's not a rule.
Mm-hmm.
The umpire can tell him to remove it if the umpire, his discretion, feels they're distracting. So the umpire said, no, those glasses are fine. Now, meanwhile, it's sunny. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, bright sunshine. It's 100 degrees outside, and he's trying to get the kid to take his sunglasses off. He said, no, those are distracting. It's in the rule book. No, it's not. Umpire's like, no, it's not in the rule book. And then the mom, because like at this point I'm behind the backstop, there's a mom. Oh, they get to leave theirs on. We didn't protest sunglasses. So I'm sitting next to my wife and then another mom from the team. I said, I got to go because this is just going to get, it's going to get bad.
The moms are the worst.
Every single sports video that you see where people are like the coach, it's always this fat white guy running out to yell at an umpire. And then there's some mom, running her freaking suck, and it's just like, hey, it's all about the kids. There's always that trashy Appalachian accent involved and some shrill voice. It's like I can see it. Like, oh, there she is. So, yep, I said I'm going to the dugout. I can't be anywhere near this team. So,
if a coach doesn't know the way to not protest, but the way to kind of ask a question is between innings, quietly, to the ref. And what you do is you walk over to the ump. You walk over to the ump. You cover your mouth. And you say, "Hey ump, I don't know this for sure. What do you think about this?" And basically, he could have gone over to the ump, stood next to him while the pitcher was warming up, and just say, "Hey, yeah, I got a question about the sunglasses with the kid on first. What do you think?" Now, don't get me wrong. It's a shitty thing to do to begin with, but if this is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
What do hey, is that kind of a distracting thing or what? And you mouth covered, nobody else can hear you.
Yeah.
And then the ump will quietly tell you, "Hey, no, it's not in the rule book. It might be somewhere else. It's not here."
Yeah.
And it's done. Because you're never going to... It's like... You're not going to convince, when you get pulled over for going 80 and a 30, you're not going to convince the police officer not to give you a ticket.
By yelling at him.
Right. You might get out of it with a warning if you just say, "Oh, hey, I'm really sorry about that. I lost track of it," or whatever.
Yeah.
You at least give yourself a shot by being somewhat polite.
Yeah.
Like, all these travel ball dudes think they're Lou Piniella.
Oh, it's so funny when because they yell about the rules, and they're wrong.
Right.
Or you hear the mom and the tie goes to the runner. No, it doesn't. Tell me you don't know anything about it without saying I don't know anything about it. Say that, because that's not it. It's funny that the coach that was complaining about the sunglasses, I went to the dugout. We're in the first base side. He's the first base coach, and I'm just like, sunglasses are distracting to him. And he looks over, and I'm like, sunglasses. And he's just like, but then they proceed to drop 20 runs on it. So you're going to start out complaining about some rule that's not a rule, and then complain about and then go and drop 20 runs in an inning. Like, you're showing your hand. Like, is this how you're going to start?
Yeah.
So,
It was so when my oldest was playing, we were playing in the playoffs, and we thought the pitcher on the other team was doing what they call a double pump, and you're not allowed to do that.
it's like a balk.
It is. You're supposed to. You're not. You're only supposed to be able to go up with your hands once, and when you come down, you break.
Yeah.
Like your hands can't come together twice. So there's two different ones. You can't break more than once. So the ball goes into the glove. Once the ball comes out of the glove, that's the break. You can't then put the ball back in the glove. So you can't go like 1-2.
Yeah.
The other one is you can't put your hands up, down, up. Those are the two like pitching rules, and there's some other ones. So between innings, I quietly like, hey, come walk with me for a minute, and I walked over to the other coach. I was like, hey, what's the rule about that little double pump that's going on there? Like, we've seen some cases where our girls have been called that can't do it. Other places, it's fine. So I brought the other coach in on it just to see, and the ump was like, he goes, I think he said in USA softball, it's not illegal. I said, yeah, but we use pony rules instead. And he said, and the ump was like, he was just honest. He goes, I really don't know. I don't normally ump pony.
Yeah.
And he looked at the other coach, and the other coach was like, I really don't know either. And I was like, yeah, I don't know either. So I know one of our girls got called for the up down motion, and so the ump was like, look, in USA softball, it's perfectly fine. And so I looked at the other coach and said, you know what? We'll let it play then.
Yeah.
Now, like, if I wanted to really call the rule and be like, hey, here it is in the punt, because we carry the rule books with us.
Yeah.
Hey, in the rule book, this is what it says. We could have really, we could have tried to have done it in one. But they're 12.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to I'm not blasting the girl.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to go out there and start yelling shit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And, like, I made sure by the time she was done warming up, my conversation with the ump and the other coach was over.
Mm-hmm.
Question asked, question answered. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not there to fight it.
Yeah.
If the ump agreed, cool. And actually, what the other coach did, and I got a lot of respect for him for doing this. He actually went out to his pitcher and said, hey, I don't really think you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And she was like,
teach her the right way.
right. And that's what they did. And
Yeah.
it didn't mess up her pitching at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that was like a really classy move.
Yeah.
On his part, because he knew the pony rules. Like, in our league, we play with those rules, and he knows what they are. And it was one of the better teams.
Yeah.
Right? He knew she shouldn't have been doing that. So he went out and he said something. But I also wasn't going to go... Like, if she did it, I wasn't going to be like, hey...
Yeah. Well,
No,
that drives me nuts, like, from the umpire's perspective, when you have a third base coach or base coach, first base, and they're like, that's a balk!
Right. Not doing that.
I'm not calling it.
No.
If you point it out, I'm not going to call it. So keep doing it.
The ump's going to say, I'm umping this game, not
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like, we've never gotten a call because we yelled at an ump. Not that I'm not an ump yeller.
Right.
I have gotten a makeup call because I went up to one quietly and said, and I remember specifically, there was a tie it looked like a tie at first base. Now, I could have stomped my feet. I could have ran out to the first base, the umpire at first base. She was safe.
Yeah.
And I had parents that wanted me to. I waited until after the inning. And I just, as the girls are switching sides, I walked out to the ump. I was like, hey, initially you called her safe and then you called her out. I just want to know what you saw there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, it's really close. And initially I thought she was safe. He goes, but for some reason, I overturned. I overturned myself, and she was out. I was like, okay, thanks, thank you for the explanation. And I walked back. The next inning, we got a makeup call.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, knowing how humans operate,
Yeah.
if I go out and yell at the dude, I'm going to lose the next 3 calls.
Oh,
and that strike zone for my kids
Yeah.
just got way bigger.
well, it happened in my oldest, in their tournament. One of our assistant coaches was unhappy with a call. So this guy was, I call him the Balkan, because he was calling balks on everything. So his kid was pitching. He's a lefty, and he pitches from the windup. So he heels on the rubber, but when he comes set, his arms are out in front of him, like he's like he's always making his hands into a basketball hoop, right? It's really graceful. It actually looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The problem is he's so far out that any motion, anything he does, it's just amplified.
Yeah.
So we call the balk, and coach is not happy, yells something. He called a balk on the next 3 pitches. So a pitch was never delivered. So then he walks up to his son and says, "Get your damn head out of your ass." And about that volume, umpire hears it. "Coach, that's your warning." And then wheels fell off. Team ends up losing. They really should have beaten this team, but not one single call went our way. Now, to me, that's unprofessional, because now as the umpire, you're taking it personally.
Right.
And I get there are people that are fired up, and usually, like, I can talk to them afterwards, and we'll be fine. Like, we go grab some beer together. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
But this guy couldn't. He was showing off that and I think some umpires, like, they just love calling balks. You're making this game take forever, homie. Like, it's going to outs is what gets us out of here. Strikes get outs, outs get us home. So you're just and the pitcher, all he had to do was correct. If he brought his arms down, either closer in, like up more towards his face, or down to his waist. One of the balks, I know what he was doing. He was getting the right grip on the ball for his pitch.
Right.
But because he's out front, that you can see the motion, and if you're being nitpicky, it's a balk. And the coach opened the door to let this guy just balk. So yeah, the Balkan. That was the Balkan game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But I mean, the appropriate way to handle that from the coach's standpoint was to go out to his son and tell him, "Look, bring your hands to your waist, get your grip, and then put your hands out.
Yeah.
And make sure you get set. Count to 2. Mm-hmm. Like, coach your kid.
Yeah.
Or coach the pitcher. Look, it's hard enough to get umps to come to these games to begin with.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to be trigger happy to throw any parent out of the game for giving
yeah.
them shit? Because they're only getting $60
Yeah.
to be there for 3 hours.
Yeah. In 100, like,
Correct.
You think you're hot sitting under your pop-up tent? Put a chest protector on, plate shoes, long wool pants. If you're doing the hockey style helmet or just the mask and legs, and see how hot you are standing out there.
It's funny. Like, we were one of the only organizations that played all of their games with umpires. Mm-hmm. But I know why. Every time the ump comes, we make sure, hey, you got water? You need water?
You got a cooler? You want to put your water in my cooler?
Right. You want to keep it in shape? We'll keep it in the dugout for you.
Yeah.
You need a cold towel? We got a cold towel for you. If there was an issue with a call between innings, like, I would go and, like, lean against the fence, like, toward our side, and he would come over because he knew I had a question. I didn't have to say anything. He knows. Mm-hmm. And I would ask him quietly. Parents can't hear me. Nobody can hear me but him.
Yeah.
And he would explain it, or he'd say, or he'd just be honest. I missed that one.
Yeah. Well, I like us. I don't like calling them Blue. I like to learn their name. And say, "Hey, Alex, what'd you see there?" "I saw this, that, and the other." "Okay, cool. I saw something different, but you're the man, so I got you."
My thing is, like, if I know what he saw, I know if we got to make an adjustment. Mm-hmm. We can adjust.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. As long as I know what's up. Like that day, if you got a lower strike zone, cool.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yep.
Like your son had to swing. Your son had to swing at that
Yeah.
one. 'Cause
And I'm
that's
proud.
what the strike zone was.
I'm proud that he did.
Right.
Because a lot of times,
That's adjusting.
a lot of kids would have stood there and taken strike 3 looking. At least he went for it.
Yep.
You know, I would have been happier had he at least been able to foul it off. But it was,
But he hacked at it.
yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
Like, it's one of those things. Like my kid was like she was pitching one game and she was like, "Oh, she got a hit off me." I said, that's why she takes a bat up there, right? Your job is to pitch. Their job is to hit.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're going to do better. Mm-hmm. They're just going to get you.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, but they scored 2 or 3 runs." I was like, "So? Like, you realize how few people want to do this?
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of girls want to pitch. Mm-hmm. They want to initially, and then they go do it, and it's like, oh, I ain't doing this. Like my older daughter was like that. She pitched for 1 year, 1 season, like not even a full year, 1 season.
Yeah.
And by the time we got to fall,
Oh, my middle. In fall, he was all about pitching. He was doing pretty good. He had 1 bad outing in spring. I don't want to pitch anymore.
yep,
Dude, what was the like? What's the difference? You know?
but that's what I told her. I said, don't worry about this. Like, your job is to put it in there.
Yeah.
Their job is to hit it. Your defense's job is to play defense. Mm-hmm. And they're either going to get on base or they're not.
Yeah.
And you got to be cool with it.
Yeah.
I said, the only pitch that matters to you is the next one. The last one doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's either a strike, a ball, or it's gone. Yeah. It's a hit.
Pretty much. And I was like, some days you're going to be the wolf, and some days you're going to be the meat. Mm-hmm. And the wolf eats the meat.
Yeah.
So you're either going to be the wolf that eats the meat, or you're going to be the meat that gets eaten. And that's how sports works.
True.
And I was like, at the end of the day, we're still going to get froyo.
Yeah.
Like,
I prefer Rita's.
or that, yeah, no, or ice cream or whatever, or French fry. I don't care. But at the end of the day, we're still doing what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And 2 days from now, you're going to go out and you'll do it again. But that's coaching for these kids. Like, I just think it's, I don't know, man. I think there are a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, like, the ones that coach because no one else will coach, I don't blame them, because they're not there because they know what they're doing. They're there because they want the kids to play, right? And usually they're not the assholes.
Yeah.
Like, they're there nice as can be. The parents get more pissed at that guy because they don't feel like he's doing enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if he wasn't doing this to begin with because your ass sits in a chair every practice and every game, so you're there all the time, but he's the one that signed up to actually be a coach so your kid has a team to play on, and you got the nuts to bitch at that person, you can go fuck yourself.
And that's how I got into coaching baseball in the first place, was because they had enough kids to make X amount of teams and enough coaches to make Y amount of teams. They would have 25 kids on each roster. I said, it's like an MLB roster, and 9 of those guys are pitchers. So, like, okay, I'll do it. And then to listen to someone complain, like, dude, you could have answered the same email. Well, I played high school ball. Oh, you did? Well, you could have. It sounds like that you should be out here then. You could have answered the same email I did, but you're not here. So what do you have to say now? It's. Oh, I have work, and I am independently wealthy. So
right. Or you get the guy who coaches, right? Thinks he's amazing at it. Basically tells parents to go fuck themselves. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what you're doing, but my kid still can't throw a ball?
Right.
Like, I certainly don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not telling you how to do it. But you haven't done shit to earn this ego trip that you got on here.
Yeah.
And, like, thinking that you're the shit.
Yeah.
Then you need to sit the fuck down. Mm-hmm. Well, we've won a lot of games. And rec league?
Yeah.
That?
And even in travel, like to me, player development is your primary goal. Did your players get better from when you got them till the end? Did they improve in all the areas they need to improve upon? And then for me, like for the teams I coach, it's like, do they want to sign up to play baseball again? If they do, that's a win. Do they request me as a coach again? Then that's like a double win. Like they enjoyed, I made it fun for them, and that's the point. As they get older, though, I get more into like, we're teaching these kids how to be responsible adults, and baseball and softball is just the medium through which we do it. Mm-hmm. So, like, I get tougher on them as they get older. I had to think, my thing is like, look like a ball player, right? Tuck your shirt in. So I say, hey, tuck your shirt in. Well, he doesn't have his shirt tucked in. Well, I'm talking about you, and where is he? Because I haven't seen him yet. Oh, hey, shirt tucked in. Be respectful. Act like you're, for the hour and a half that we're together at this game, act like you want to be here. Listen to what you're being told. So, it's like just be a good little human.
Yeah. Oddly enough, one thing kind of aggravated me this year with softball, and it had to do with the softball cheers. Not that there were cheers.
Well, we know my feelings on softball.
I do. but like, I listened to the cheers, and it was like, there's two types. There's the cheers that are uplifting to their own team.
Yeah.
Like cheering on their teammate. And then there's the other ones that are like I don't know what the right word is, but basically picking on the other team.
Yes.
And I looked at the girls and I said, hey, we're not going to do this. We're going to do the cheers that lift up our teammates. Mm-hmm. We're not doing the ones that basically denigrate the other team.
Yeah.
Nobody needs that. You guys don't need that. I was like, the other part of it is we're not screeching it. Sing the chant, don't screech it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just doing it to be noticed.
Yeah.
You're not doing it to uplift your team.
You're just being obnoxious.
Correct. You're not. You're doing it because you think you should do it, to be obnoxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do it because you're cheering on your team. Like, if we're gonna do it, you do it the right way.
Yeah. And there's some that I hate. Well, to me, it has no place in baseball.
Right.
I'm just gonna be a hard ass. The dugouts for talking shit and spitting seeds. Later on, talking shit, spitting seeds, and chewing dip. That's not youth baseball. That's
right.
Adult. So umpire didn't show up. I'm calling the game. The other team, coach, real good dude. I know him. He just didn't hear it. And they're saying, it's like, something about the pitcher this. Time, coaches. I said, I personally hate chants. That's for the softball field, which is over there. I think that day it was currently a swamp. But I said, if they want to do it, do it. But like you said, uplifting. To cheer your own teammates on. Don't put down other kids on this field. And the other coach is like, man, I didn't hear it. I'm so sorry. I said, I get it. But I heard it. It stops.
Yeah.
So, and they knocked it off. My kids were screeching the SpongeBob SquarePants song. I was like, hey, guys, knock it off. I heard.
But that's where they learn how to be humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
They learned the lesson that day.
There's another one I heard. It's for like a ball that's low. Like, it's low. How low? Down where the wormies go. Okay. Get the mom out of the dugout, please.
Correct, yeah.
Ma'am, leave.
Right. Like there's the one of the girls, she stole on you. She stole on you while you were picking your nose. She was running something of bullshit. I'm like, no, we ain't doing that shit.
Yeah.
No.
Here's a bag of seeds.
Right. Well, I was like, she stole second base because the catcher didn't even try to throw. Mm-hmm. That ain't song worthy. Mm-hmm. And especially, you're not going to denigrate. You're not taking down someone else with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We need to stop this shit right now.
Yeah. Awful.
And they're like, they got other cheers that lift the girls up and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, we're doing those.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, this is where I think a lot of people lose focus on what youth sports are about. Mm-hmm. because I hate to break it to any kid in Maryland, any softball or baseball player in Maryland, your chance to make it even to college playing is slim to none. And slim is very, very slim.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, because look, we got a couple major leaguers that have made it from here. Jackson Merrill's one.
Josh Hader.
Mark Teixeira.
Yep.
Okay, I've named like all three. Yeah. That's all three of them have now been mentioned.
Cal Ripken's from Maryland.
He is the Iron Man. Back when travel ball probably wasn't even a thing, or actually, it definitely wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I think they had like summer league.
Yeah,
but that was about it.
Played Legion ball.
Yes. So, a buddy of ours, his daughter plays travel softball. And in my opinion, his daughter went to travel softball for the right reasons. She was just head and shoulders above everyone else talent-wise. She was going to get nothing out of playing rec ball anymore. They went to go play travel ball to get the better competition. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is why you go.
Yeah.
They left everybody else behind. Like, they weren't sticking with it they weren't doing it to stick with the same people. They went to a team. They did the tryouts. And the brand new team. Now they become friends with them. Whatever.
Sure.
But they went for the right reasons.
You spend every weekend with a group of people. You're gonna either hate them or love them.
Right.
You're gonna make friends.
But that's what travel ball is for.
Yeah.
All right. Not for some political bullshit. Not for some other. No. You're going for a specific reason. They went down, and they're a team in Maryland. They went down and played in a tournament in Georgia. Now, keep in mind, this is probably one of the best travel softball teams in Maryland. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a B team, but it's a very, very good B team.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen these kids play. It's legit, at least to my eyes, it looks like legit softball. He said they went to Georgia and just didn't come close.
Yeah.
And that was when I looked at, like, the Division I rosters for softball and baseball. It's all California, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina.
Yeah, places where they can start playing in January, where they don't have mud season and rain season. So, because like here, it rained all spring.
Yep.
I mean, the schedule this year was a nightmare.
Yep.
Trying to do makeup games, then you're doing a makeup game. It's rained out, and now you have to. I mean, it was just we ended up playing the same team like 5 days in a row just to get games in.
Yep.
And it was great. Now we really like this team's a fun team to play. Similar attitudes to us, like just a good group of people. Mm-hmm. So it was cool. Like we'd go up there twice, come down on Mother's Day. We had we played them at their field and had a table set up with food and everything for the moms, and like between the doubleheader, their players are coming over and parents are coming. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
Then they're the teams that you hate playing because they're all,
Listen, you don't got to tell me about hating people.
yeah.
I still fucking hate those people.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
But yeah. So it just runs the gamut. But it is when you see where players are from, they're from the South because they can play.
Yeah. You're right. It's year round, but it's also. I have no real evidence for this. Yes, they play travel ball, but because they're able to play more of the calendar, they don't play all of the calendar. So the kids are then able to go play other sports too. Mm-hmm. Like we have a mutual friend down in Florida. Kid plays football. Mm-hmm. I think basketball, soccer,
yeah,
but all of them at a decently high level. Mm-hmm. But I also think playing that many different sports makes them better, makes the kids probably better in all of those sports.
Yeah, sure.
Like the skills from one helps them in the skills from another.
Yeah,
or it relates to the other sport, right? But because they can do sports basically 12 months around the clock or around the calendar, like the baseball or the football season can be a full 4-5 months of just playing. with no interruptions,
Yeah.
not taking 2 weeks off because of rain or field shoddy. Mm-hmm. The fields down there are turf, so they don't have to worry about like what we go through.
Yeah.
When they go do the football, like, for the football, it's the 5 months they're playing for the full 5 months. When it's soccer, rains for 10 minutes, they're playing after that.
Yep.
Again, turf fields.
And they don't have to play in the summer.
Right.
First of all, you don't want to because it's so damn hot down there. But for us, like, the most reliable time without rain
Summer.
is the summer. Now, we get the summer afternoon storms, but they dump a bunch of rain and roll out. It doesn't ruin a field.
Yep.
As opposed to the spring where it's just like 3 days of soaking rain. And it takes the field 2 days to dry out. And then by the time it dries out, you might get your game in, and then it's another 3 days of rain. So the weather's more polite down there.
Yeah. So, but I just find it funny that you've got parents up here who will just stab friends in the back. They just, like, they'll talk shit about a kid. Like, they'll do all of this heinous shit
Yeah.
to make themselves the worst human beings possible. Mm-hmm. Because they think they're going to give their kid a leg up.
Right.
To go play in college or play in high school or whatever it is. And it doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be friends. There's always going to be people whose kids are super athletes playing somewhere else that you don't even see.
Yeah.
Who eventually come back. Or they're going to, or they're playing in Georgia where you don't even know that exists. Mm-hmm. And they're going to, they could crush your team.
Oh, yeah.
In a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So you basically just became the worst type of human being possible for no fucking reason. And you just ruined any reputation you had.
Yeah.
And you became the evil witch. Mm-hmm. For what? No one's going to trust you to do shit.
Yeah.
It's like the coach who goes and yells at the ump. What do you think people see?
Yeah.
What do you think you just taught the kids that you're supposed to coach and make them better human beings?
And mentor. And what you've taught them is when something happens that I don't like, throw a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Is what you've just told that those, 13 little boys and girls in the dugout watching you lose your temper over a 10U baseball game. And that's the worst part about it. Or watching them get nitpicky with trying to pull little tricks to try to win.
So speaking of that, we had a situation where we were up by 3 runs, bottom of the inning. Mm-hmm. We were the home team. We make our last out. There's 1 minute left for us to start a new inning. Mm-hmm. If we would have told the girl before to strike out, because we didn't have any outs at the time. If I told her to strike out so the next kid could have gone up, we would have run over the time. Mm. And we would have won.
Yeah.
We weren't going to teach kids how to win that way.
Right.
I'm not going to tell a kid to purposely strike out just so we can waste time.
Sure.
But there are people that do that shit.
Oh, yeah. I've seen pitching changes. Kids throwing good, throwing really well. And then it's, pitching change. Because they know they're coming up against the drop dead time. You're pitching change now? It's I don't want to win like that.
No.
So.
No, I apologized to the team afterwards. I said, look, if I would have known, maybe I could have called a timeout or something. I was like, but we played it honestly.
Yeah.
And we didn't move on.
Yeah.
Like, no, my fault for bad time management.
Yeah.
However, I wasn't going to tell the girl to strike out. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it that way.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And the best part about it was, though, the parents and the other coaches, they didn't want us to.
Yeah.
Not one person thought that was the way to go.
Yeah.
And that was good. Like, and I know this is going to sound stupid. I'd rather lose that way than win the other way.
Yeah. You'd rather lose with honor.
Right.
Than go out and be, oh, that's loser talk. Winning's everything. Okay.
And this was the same team that when I talked to the umpire and the coach. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like the teams were like, oh, I hate these people.
Yeah.
No, man, they were super nice people. Like, I'm not like the best team will win.
Yeah.
And move on. Never mind, it's a fucking consolation bracket playoff.
Right. 10U or 12U softball game.
Yeah, but this ain't the Waterbury Open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't winning trophies. Like Jerry says.
Yeah.
If we really want a trophy, I'll go make some trophies.
Yeah.
They're like $6. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, and we've said this before. Don't understand some humans. Yeah. Like why that team was in that same tournament bracket as you guys. It should never have happened.
No. And the thing is, like, that team, they were good. They were well coached. Like, the score was reflective of how much better that team was than us. They just shouldn't have been in that tournament.
Well, and from the sounds of things, the coaches sounded like shitty people.
Yeah.
Like, doing that shit.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, that's why, if they're not shitty people, they're not in that bracket with you.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's just bad human beings.
Right. It's like I could get my youngest, and I could have 3 of his friends play me in basketball, and I could beat them badly. I'm a terrible basketball player. But what's the point? I go beat a bunch of 4-year-olds.
You got to do the new thing. You got to identify as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And shack on, and just go shack on them. But they got to let you play because you now identify as a 9-year-old.
Right. Yeah, it's my truth.
It is your truth.
And if you don't acknowledge it, it's hate.
You're a bigot. You're a bigot. I'm sure you'll be racist somehow.
Sure. All the isms.
All the isms. You're all of them rolled into one. How could you? How dare you?
But no, it's not about assholism, which is the big one.
That's one thing. We should do an episode where we find all the isms.
Yeah.
Define the isms.
Right. The phobias.
I don't know if I can name them. By the way, it was funny. So I follow some people on Twitter, and they're gay and lesbian. And the only reason why that's relevant is because they were showing video of the New York City Pride Parade of just dudes walking around naked with their hogs hanging out. And like these were like OG lesbians that were posting this. Like she's an OG lesbian.
Yeah.
Like from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Right? I think she was from the 90s.
Subaru
like
sitting outside.
Probably. Yeah. And she was like, I've been to a ton of pride parades. She goes, this is why I don't go anymore. Because of this bullshit. And like, yeah, it was wild. Like the video, like they got to blur stuff out, and like, oh, there's no kids there. Meanwhile, there's a kid there.
Oh yeah,
like the kids are lining up
everywhere.
Like you got your hog out in front of a 7-year-old. Aren't you embarrassed?
Yeah,
it's like Sebastian Maniscalco goes, aren't you embarrassed? Like, if my hog's out in front of a kid, no.
Yeah.
Where's some clothes at? Put them on.
Like, I was in the pool.
What does your hog have to do with you being gay?
Right, because straight guys have them too.
Right. And if
it's not exclusive to gay dudes.
If a straight guy does that near kids,
he's going to jail.
He's going to jail.
Yeah.
This is the only place where it's okay.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What are we doing here?
Never will.
Like, put some clothes. Be all the gay you want.
Gay it up.
Dance in the streets.
Yeah.
Get on a float like they do at Carnival.
Yeah.
In Brazil. Do that. Get up there. Shake your thing. Be all of it. Put your wang back in.
Yeah.
And not in a leather G-string. Not that kind of tucking. No, we can't. Come on.
No one wants to see it.
No. Even your boyfriend probably don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Can we just, harness that thing. Harness it back in with some shorts. The shorts are short enough now anyway.
Yeah.
You're practically showing it out.
Even shorts that, like, just people wear, like, around.
Right, the bird dog shorts that all the kids are wearing.
Yeah.
Just hogs.
Yeah, too short.
What are we doing? Why is that? Why are shorts? Dude, we got rid of them in the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you remember 80s basketball?
Sure.
Larry Bird shorts were way too fucking short.
Right. They were boxer shorts.
Yes, they were. Shorter than that.
Yeah.
Boxer shorts now are even longer.
Right.
Magic and Bird didn't need to have that. Do they call them hip hookers? I don't even know what they were called back then. Like, what were we doing back then?
The Army, they call them Ranger panties.
Yeah.
So,
like, the women's NBA, like, Angel Reese's shorts were like the 80s men's shorts.
Yeah.
Like, her shorts now, 80s men's shorts.
Yeah.
Men, we shouldn't have had the shorts that short.
You don't have to go to Allen Iverson, like, baggy shorts down.
No. But look, inch or two above the knee.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Why we got to go halfway up the... I'm seeing too much man thigh these days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't look, guys, I'm not saying don't be proud of your body, but something, we just can't pull some stuff off.
Have a little shame.
A little bit. I don't know. I mean, the man moose knuckle. We don't need to see it. Oh, I'm pleading here, fellas. I'm pleading. We got, a 90% male audience, fellas.
Yeah.
We're going to start we should start a movement. No nut hugger movement. We used to call them nut huggers back in the day.
Yeah.
No nut hugger movement. We're not going back. We're not going back. That's going to be the movement. That's going to be the new tagline. Driveway Bears podcast. We're not going back.
Right. Not going back to short shorts.
My body, my choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My choice is to not have my nuts hanging out.
Yeah. And again, you're inch above the knee, 2 inches, whatever.
We didn't talk about weight loss.
We didn't.
Jesus, an hour and 7.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about it. You know what? We lost weight. We'll get into it next week.
Yeah. We'll updates later.
Jesus. One day we're going to stay on topic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is episode 211, but we're getting there. We're going to get on topic.
Figured it out by now.
It's only been 4 years. We'll stay on topic.
Yeah.
Although I guess we did stay on a topic.
No, we're too good at staying on topic.
We were. We just didn't get to the next topic.
Yeah. Yeah, because I looked at my watch at like 41 minutes in. I was like, oh, we'll get to it. Nope.
I always think when I look at it and I see 41, I'm like, oh, good. We can wrap this up. And then like either you or I bring up like an adjacent point that's on the topic, and it's a good point, and it deserves to be talked about.
To explore it,
right? And like it should be talked. It's relevant. It's a good point. Mm-hmm. We should expand. And then it's an hour and 8 minutes later.
Yeah.
into the show. And we have not hit on the original topic that we told people we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Which was the weight loss. Although, did I even say it? Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I mentioned it.
No, we teased it a couple episodes ago.
We did.
Tease it again.
Next week. If we do it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the weight loss situation because things have happened.
Sure. Yeah.
We're not good at this.
No.
4 years later, we should have learned something. 200
people are like, why are you guys still doing this? Like, why are you still listening?
Right. Yeah. We would do it less if less people would listen. But oddly enough, more people keep listening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we haven't. I will say this: after like the first 4 months, we haven't increased the volume. It's been one per week.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get more listeners and say, we should do 2 per week. We didn't do that.
Right.
So, I mean, some restraint on our part, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
Lack of time.
It's hard enough to get these ones scheduled to record, so.
We got to start bringing people back in, too.
Yeah.
We haven't had a guest in a long time.
It's probably been a year? Maybe more?
Close. I mean, maybe, we maybe done a couple over the winter. We haven't had the fellas on. Mm-mm. We haven't brought none of them.
No.
A lot of shit's been going on though.
Yeah. All these damn kids and their damn sports.
I mean that. Then we have the election.
Yeah.
Our weight loss. Our health issues. Wars.
Yep.
It was funny. Like in the text messages that we have, it's like we probably got 3 more shows
Just in the text message.
in the text message.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like okay. And then like, do we bring in the fellas for just? I think honestly, between Ty, Jared, Jeremy, Smitty, we should just bring them in for the Josh,
Krishan.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just got to bring them in and talk about the shit.
Yeah.
And stop trying to like have them be the experts in whatever.
Yeah.
Because we ain't gonna get to it.
No.
So, you know what? We're bringing them in.
Yeah, we just have to now we have to schedule it. So
That's the other part, I think. We scheduled this today.
yeah.
Today. Once the baseball stuff is kind of over, it's easier. Like I feel like fall and winter are much easier.
Yeah, baseball never ends.
Yeah. But hey, episode 211, you're still here.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thanks for listening. Thanks to Adam Chubbuck, TechMD.com. We'll talk to you next week.